Hey everybody, and welcome to Tnashi's Movie Corner. So for today's movie review, I will be reviewing It Follows, which came out in 2014 at an hour and 40 minutes long. It is directed and written by David Robert Mitchell, and I can't even really get into saying the cast, so I apologize up front, but I want to say the cast, great job all around, really good. So let's start off there with that. Okay, so this is about a young woman who is followed by an unknown supernatural force after a sexual encounter. So this movie is definitely starts off opening up very different from what I'd seen before. I knew the movie was different from other reviews I've heard and everything. And, you know, hearing that people summarize the movie it doesn't really do the film justice, because for me it was like, okay, well, that's more of a strange concept. I don't think I'd be into that kind of movie. However, I really enjoyed this movie. In fact, I thoroughly enjoyed this film. I think this is one of the greatest kind of horror films out there that I've seen, at least in recent memory. And for those of you that had watched, I had actually gone and picked up the Steelbook, having not seen this movie. So I was really hoping it was good, because otherwise, But this movie was fantastic. Like, I highly enjoyed this film. I thought it was great. I have one little nitpick that I'll get into, but aside from that, you know, having this, you know, creature follow you, and just no matter where you try to go, where you try to run and hide, it keeps coming after you. And in order to there's a very interesting way that I'll try not to spoil about how to get rid of it. But you know, you have this woman who's kind of thrown into this situation where she's being pursued by this supernatural force, which is kind of scary in its own right. And it can take on all these different appearances and everything. And you know, once it gets to you, obviously it kills you. So there's that fear kind of going with it. The entire concept was intriguing, and I've talked about interesting concepts before, but not being able to deliver. I think this delivered. I think this absolutely delivered. You know, there was definitely the horror aspect of it, I think, was there. There was the mystery kind of aspect of it too, which flowed very nicely. Every scene felt like it worked. Again, the opening was an interesting choice, but it got me hooked in the movie from that point. The music, you know, the score was very well handled there. The acting, like I said, good across the board. And this movie is an hour and 40 minutes, but it doesn't really feel like that because of how well all the scenes transition one to the next, how things are going. You know, there's technically speaking, there's an easy way to combat this, but there's this whole setup of not knowing what to believe at first, and even when you do, how do you handle this situation that you're in and everything, and trying to convince her friends to believe that this is actually a thing, that she's not crazy, from this horrible experience that she had. She's not making it up. It's not something in her mind. It is something that's real, and that's a tough thing to kind of sell. So I liked pretty much the whole movie. Like, again, there's one little nitpick that I want to get into, and it is a little spoilerish, so I'll wait to give my rating on it. But it's nothing to really detract from the overall movie, and I'm not talking about the easy way to get around said creature following you. But there was definitely some interesting things to it, and I like that there's certain questions that don't get answered. I actually really enjoy that, because it did leave you hanging on some things, and so I thought that was kind of refreshing in a way. And this isn't your standard horror film by any means. Not that standard horror films can't be done well, just that this was outside the box, and I like seeing things that are outside the box. So giving this a rating 1 through 10, I'm actually going to go and give it a solid 10 out of 10. So enjoyed this film. If you can't tell, I recommend you go see it if you haven't. I'm sure most of you have seen it, but it's definitely one of my favorite horror films. I just think it was really well done. And now let's get into the little spoiler moment. Let's get into that real quick. So at one point, the creature does catch up to our main character and pulls her hair. This seemed odd to me. I don't know why that was able to happen. Just because, I don't know, it just felt weird. Like after seeing what it does later on to one of the members, to see what it did before with our first character that we're kind of shown, and to see the outcome of that encounter, to have her get her hair pulled and then able to get away, just felt really out of place and took me out of the movie for a moment. But again, one minor moment. Anyway, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video, and if so, click that like button, share, subscribe to my channel, and watch my other vids. I have quite a few horror movie reviews that I've done now. A lot of horror movies I had not seen before, so I've done a lot of reviews there. And depending on when this goes up, there's going to be double the amount of reviews for today. This being on Halloween, I decided to definitely do this newer horror film, but I also wanted to express my opinion on The Exorcist, so make sure you go check out both of those. Again, hopefully you enjoyed this video, and if so, click that like button, share, subscribe to my channel, and watch my other vids. I do appreciate it, and until next time, peace.